The Trump administration unveiling a new order on immigration just this morning. Let's dig in on two areas of the U.S. economy that could see an impact. Seema Mody is looking at changes to H1-B visas and what it means to the tech sector. So different from the EO this morning. Susan Lee is looking at how this order could impact travel. Seema, let's start with you. Seema.
Michelle, it may just be a temporary suspension on expedited processing of H1Bs, but the impact could be significant. Silicon Valley is dependent on the H1B visa to recruit highly skilled foreign talent. Over half of the 85,000 visas given every year go to the technology industry. We're talking about coders, designers, folks who work in software, hardware from countries like India and China. Outsourcing firms like Infosys, Cognizant, and Tata Consulting have been under pressure over the past couple of weeks over concerns around H1B visa reform. But it's not limited to outsourcing. Big tech companies, Apple, Alphabet, Amazon, Microsoft, use H1B visas. Analysts say any restriction or increase in salary requirements could result in big tech sending more jobs offshore. The suspension on those seeking the fast-track H1B process goes into effect on April 3rd and could last up to 6 months. Some say this is just a temporary solution to what could be a broader overhaul of the visa program. Lawmakers arguing for reform say the visa allows companies to pass over American workers and bring over foreign talent at a lower wage. But tech lobbyists say the issue is structural and that the specialized talent needed simply cannot be found at home. And that's why, guys, H1B visas is such a big conflict, or point of contention, I should say, between Silicon Valley and the White House.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Seema, thank you very much. Now, let's get to the other side. Susan Lee joining us with the impact this might have on travel and travel stocks, the airlines, some people concerned there. Susan, what's going on?
Well, the tourism and the travel industry, they account for what, roughly $1.5 trillion. That's what they bring to the U.S. economy, and is probably the largest export industry in the world and the easiest business that gives a country access to hard currency. And that's why a lot of nations around the world promote travel and tourism. Now, after a record year in 2016, despite the talk of a strong U.S. dollar, 2017 had actually started off positively, with business travel even picking up after lagging the past 18 months on global economic concerns. But after the first executive order that was signed at the end of January, travel has dropped off significantly, from bookings to searches. It's really an industry consensus that people are now less interested in traveling to the U.S. Business travel is especially key for a lot of the listed hotel operators and airlines as they fill up the front of the plane. And according to the Global Business Travel Association, that's down 8% since the initial travel ban, with $185 million in lost bookings already. It's a big deal. It is a big deal because every 1% drop in business travel results in a loss of 71,000 jobs and a loss of $5 billion to the U.S. economy and U.S. GDP. And the cities most affected, I'll even get granular here. Tourism Economics says Miami, San Fran, New York are the top 3 places that have the highest ratio of foreign travelers taking up hotel rooms in the city. And in New York's case, you've heard this, guys, the city's tourism arm is already predicting the city's first decline in 8 years because of the travel ban.
I'm confused. Do we really get that many people from Yemen?
Yeah.
And Iraq?
I mean,
and Iran? I mean,
it's optics and it's the messaging. It shows a lot of
so people from other countries beside those countries don't
here
come
to the U.S. You're right. It only represents 2%, right? Travelers from the Middle East. But it was a record year last year in 2016. And again, it's the messaging that you're giving the rest of the world.
Is it possible that after 8 years in a row of records that there might be a decline?
Yeah, and the dollar. We got to remember, if you're coming from Europe to America, you get a lot less for your money because the dollar has gone up against the euro.
That's why so many Americans are going to London.
Yeah, so I wonder how much of that is also just...
2016 was a record year in travelers despite the strong U.S. dollar, as I made the point.
Coming from where?
Well, everywhere. Middle East, Asia, Europe even took a look at the U.S. Maybe not record numbers, but it was a record number in terms of travelers here to the U.S. borders.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.